Yes.
Okay.
I guess,
I
right? Well,
guess.
Spain,
Yeah.
because Spain's in Europe, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right. All right. I guess if you want to do it like that, sure. But
I mean, I don't know. I might be wrong. I might be
I
wrong.
think they want to. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why they have another. And maybe that was their. I mean, maybe it was a bad thing to show a white man just killing a bunch of African villagers without showing the other protagonist that's a African female.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that I could understand that. I'll give him that. So
Mm-hmm. Apparently, there's 400 people working on Resident Evil 5.
400.
400.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of people for one game.
Yeah.
At the
The
same
thing,
time,
now the one thing I am worried about with Resident Evil 5 is while it does look cool, in the sense that they're improving on the graphics, they're improving on the amount of enemies on screen, the size of the environment, the controls pretty much look the same
yeah,
as
but the
Resident Evil 4.
the
Which I guess is fine because again, it's sort of the if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of theory. But the thing is, that's what they did with the with like Resident Evil 1 through 3 or 1 through Veronica. They just sort of kept it the same from the original game. They didn't really change anything. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that was sort of why the game got really, really stale, and that's why they needed to make Resident Evil 4 because the game had gotten so stale from them constantly reusing, the control scheme.
Well, I can't stand fixed cameras anyway, so I think the fourth game really helped the fact that you could be moving around. The camera was always behind you. I mean, I think the camera was kind of crappy in a sense. Well, at the time it was full screen, so you couldn't really see anyone around you. I mean, this game's gonna be widescreen, so we'll see how that works out.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean I think it worked really well in 4. It was easy to pick up. I played the first game for a little bit. I didn't really like it because I didn't like the camera system,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't feel like I could aim really well. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this game does compared to the fourth game. I think they're adding. From what it looks like in the trailers, it looks like there's a crazy amount of enemies that are coming at you.
Yeah, that looks exciting.
It looks exciting, but at the same time, it looks really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that works out. Resident Evil 5 coming out. Where is it? March 12th, March 13th in North America and Europe.
Well, hopefully I'll have a
Stick
Xbox
around.
by then.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have a PS3 by then. So one or the other, anyways. I want a PS3 more for the Blu-ray. So
Yeah.
how that goes.
Well, what do you think Resident? I mean, the thing is that I'm kind of torn on what I would want to get Resident Evil 5 on an Xbox or a PS3 because the controls are kind of developed for a PS. I mean, yeah, it probably won't matter, but I mean, the Resident Evil was originally a PS3 game, so I'm thinking it might be better with the controls for PS3. But
well, the controllers I think are you have two thumb pads on both controllers. I mean, you basically sort of have the same thing going on. I mean, I'm not a huge expert in it, but it works. I think first-person and third-person shooters on both systems work really well. I don't think there's going to be a huge problem.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion. I think when people really get nitty-gritty about the graphics on both systems, I think that, like, IGN does a comparison for, like, it's called, I guess Grudge Match, or, I don't know, they do, like, head-to-head, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, I don't think you can fairly assess that doing that, because isn't it when they put it in the video format, it sort of crunches things, the video?
Yeah, they show a lot of,
And I mean, everything kind of just looks the same, even though you're doing the comparison.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy. I don't really trust it too much compared to, well, I don't know. To me, making graphical differences that are so minute.
Yeah, it really is.
It's ridiculous to me. I mean, what the hell is the point?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a little darker on the PS3 or whatever. Is that really a huge deal? You know what I mean? Put the graphic lightness.
Well, the thing is, it could be because I mean, if you own both a PS3 and an Xbox, you might as well, and they're both the same price. You might as well buy the one with the tiny, slight difference in graphics, better graphics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah.
So, I mean,
that's true. But if you're deciding, because right now I don't have one of the core systems. What one I'd really want. I mean, it's not going to matter to me. The game's on both systems. the game should run at the same frame rate. I mean, in the beginning it didn't. Like, for instance, Madden on the PS3 ran at 30 frames while it ran at 60 frames on the Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they've kind of fixed that issue since then. So I don't know. It's funny. I don't think I would ever have said that I would be buying a Sony video game product.
I know. And look at you. You're a sellout is what you are, Dave. What do you think about this? I want to ask you about this. What do you think about this whole Tara Patrick advertising for what's it called? Saints Row. Saints Row 2. You know how all of these advertisements have come out for Saints Row 2 have had, like, it's basically Tara Patrick, and she's licensed now, like, she's going to be in the credits as a producer for the game. And it's just, I don't know, like, what do you think about this marketing tactic?
What do I, more importantly, I think, are you getting to, like, in-game advertisements?
No, this is, like, the TV advertisements for it.
Oh, I don't see what's the big deal? I don't see what the problem is.
I don't know, I get kind of annoyed with just, like, this whole, people who play video games are only, like, nerds who...
Oh, checking out hot women and that kind of deal?
No, not just that, but just are, like, desperate for porn stars and will just... immediately buy your shitty game, which, as far as I can tell, the game looks kind of shitty.
Honestly,
just because porn stars are advertising it, you know?
Honestly, I did not know she was a porn star when you said her name.
Tara
That's why I was like, I don't know, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
So, no, but now I think of it, I guess, yeah, sure, I guess you're making a good point in a sense. I mean, not that I'm against porn. I watch my fair amount of porn myself. I'm not saying that video game nerds aren't nerds, but yeah.
I mean, just to think that, like, you're going to make, that people are just going to buy your shitty game because you have porn stars.
Whatever you can do, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, whatever gets the people to spend that dollar. No, and what I mean, what's your opinion on in-game advertisements?
In-game advertisements?
Like everyone.
I don't think it's going to be effective, really. I don't think it's going to be I mean, as a person who works in marketing myself, I don't think it's going to be as effective as they think it is. It's probably just kind of it'll be good for branding, basically, kind of. But in the general sense of just trying to get people to go and buy stuff, I think it'll probably be as effective as TV ads, which are not that effective, generally speaking.
Right.
But at the same time, I think it's probably going to be needed because video games are going to get to the point where they're so expensive that, you know, to keep the sales price down, they're going to need to do it. They're going to need to find other ways to do it. And, you know, there are some interesting ways you can go about doing in-game advertising. I thought Hideo Kojima did some interesting things with Metal Gear Solid, like the iPod. Like in the game, the main character picks up an iPod, you know, and you get to carry on an iPod. You can load your songs on it in the game and listen to it while you're playing the game. Right. And I thought that was a cool idea, you know, and they did this, you know, they had a whole marketing agreement with that, with Apple on it, and I thought that was kind of a neat thing to do, and I think, you know, there are ways you can do it. I think it's probably going to be, I think it is going to be the future because I think they have to think of some way to basically make up the costs of video games other than just you know,
sales.
Sales. I was going to say, you know, upping the sales price basically.
Yeah.
Upping the sales price because. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's funny because every time I watch and I'll try to make this short, every time you watch G4 or go on GameSpot and stuff like that, the editors, and I remember Morgan Webb did like a Morgan Minute where she talked and kind of bitched about in-game advertisements, and I just don't understand because her argument was, if they're going to do that, fine, but they should lower the price of the game. I'm like, no, you do not understand. You
economics.
Yeah, economics. If that's the case, because if kids are still buying games at $50, even $60, there's no way in hell they're going to be lowering prices.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
Like,
I mean, I mean, once you have the price and people keep buying it, the thing is, I think they're sort of at a
peak. I would say it was $60.
I mean, I want to say they're at a peak, at the top of the peak they could possibly charge for a game. But the thing is, this is what everybody said when they hit 50, you know. And when they went up to 50, they said, oh, no one's going to buy the games at 60 now, and then they did. So, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine them. I mean, there is a point eventually, you know, and PS3 found this out when they tried to sell a console for $600 and
yeah.
bought it, you know. So there is a point. And I think, I mean, I can't imagine people would be willing to buy $70, $100,